back to the channel. So look, I'm going to be doing some commentary on Love and Marriage Huntsville today. Man, this show, it just doesn't stop. I'm talking about all of the events that not only take place on the show, and I've said this before, but the things that we see happening in real time. It's just crazy. These folks stay in court, they stay with some type of allegation. I mean, can we just say that this cast, a lot of this cast, not all of this cast, but majority, at least on the Scott side of this whole thing, it's just a hotmess.com. So I'm going to give some commentary on what is going on right now with this cast in my mind. And but before I do, please keep in mind that these views are alleged and they are my opinion. It's for entertainment. It's for take it how you want to take it. Okay. These are just my views and this is just my opinion. But when it comes to this cast right now, I feel like the scales are horribly unbalanced. For number one, we are introduced to some new faces this season, and that's good. But one of the new faces is Courtney, who is Letitia's cousin. There are just too many Scotts, and I know that she technically isn't a Scott, but she's on the side of the Scotts, right? And now Kiki has more of a presence on this show this season, and she's technically not a Scott either, but she is Letitia's cousin. It's just too many of them. Some of these Scotts need to go away. Now, I actually like Courtney. I feel like she's young. She seems to be motivated. You know, she's a realtor. She seems to be well educated and well spoken. And just from the little snippet that I saw with her and Letitia talking, I felt that her energy was pretty good, at least then. I mean, we haven't really seen that much of her. And I don't know how big of a presence she's going to have on this show. But even with just taking Courtney out, let's just say that that was it for her. We're not going to really see her that much on the season. Just Kiki being there, to me, it's still, the scales are unbalanced. On top of that, guys, this show to me is now the Payton Place. I'm sorry. I don't know if you ever remember that, but Payton Place was like this soap opera. And I used to watch it when I was a little girl. And although it was an adult show, I like watching it. I like watching stuff like that. I used to hang with my grandmother. And, you know, she used to always, oops, excuse me. It fit like a sorry about that. She used to tell me that I was like an old soul. Like she used to call me Miss Cher or Miss 21 when I was younger because I like to watch these soap operas and I like to talk to her about them. And one of them was Payton Place. It was so much drama on that show. I mean, sex scandals. What was it? Sex scandals. They were shady business deals. All of the things that we're seeing with a lot of these castmates on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I feel like, honestly, Carlos King needs to sit down, sit with Melody, and talk about how to restructure this show so that it can move forward, if she's going to remain on this show, so that it can move forward. And can we see some more prominent people on this show besides the Fletchers and maybe Tiffany and Lou, Mel and her crew? I mean, can we see some Black excellence for real? Because on the Scott side, allegedly, and in my opinion, we're not seeing that. I mean, most recently, we had Marceau in court to allegedly try to take back land from a gentleman or a home from a gentleman that has owned his home for 10 years due to the fact of Marceau losing that home for non-payment of taxes. And that whole thing just seems so shady, but it's not a good look for the show because, like I said, the things that we're seeing in real time, although it's not happening on the show, it does affect the show because this speaks to the character. These things that we're seeing speak to the character of the castmates on the show. And then we had, again, the allegations about Martell and Ariane, and that whole thing was just a hot mess. And now we have recent allegations as it pertains to Kiki and shoplifting at a Home Depot. Now, again, it's allegations, but just the fact that people would assume that it was her. I mean, this young lady, she has some very strong Scott features. I mean, well, not Scott's, but Kiki's, Letitia's family. Kiki and Letitia, Courtney, Wanda, they have very striking features where you know that they are related. And so when I actually showed this, the clip from that Crime Stoppers video, I forwarded it to my daughter in San Antonio, and I asked her if she knew who this was, and she immediately knew it was a Scott. She thought it was Letitia, actually. And I said no, because she hasn't gotten to the part where she's introduced to Kiki yet. So she thought it was Letitia. No, it's not. But she, like I said, she's now catching up with the show. She started watching it since I started commentating on it. And so she hasn't gotten to the part where she's going to be introduced to Kiki yet. But I told her, no, but allegedly it is a Scott. So anyway, like I said, they have very strong features. And the things that sort of make these allegations believable is because the young lady is in purple. And we know that that is Kiki's favorite color. She always has on purple. And the car that the lady was driving away in, like they show a little segment in that video clip on Crime Stoppers of her trying to get away or driving away very fast in her car, and her vehicle is a gray Mercedes or silver Mercedes, and Kiki actually has a silver Mercedes, and the Louis Vuitton purse is the same, basically. So you know that vloggers, when we're looking at things like, we're going to hone in, we're going to look, we're going to scrutinize every little detail just to try to make sure that when we point things out, we're on point. At least I do. So yes, I pray that it isn't Kiki, and I pray that her demons aren't coming back to get her. But like I said, just the fact that people would even speculate that is her or that is one of their family members, to me, it's just not a good look. The mugshots of Letitia that surfaced before, the mugshots of Marceau, and we know that Maurice had his records locked so that we couldn't get any information or any of his mugshots from his records, allegedly. But just the fact that he had them tells us that something happened. So I don't know. In my mind, I feel like a lot of these castmates need to be recast. And like I said, the scales are unbalanced. Like there has to be someone else in Huntsville who is an upstanding Black African American who has some type of money that can be on this show. I'm sure there are people like that in Huntsville. I hear that Huntsville is an up and coming city, and it's like one of the number one cities for people to want to live in now. So there's a lot happening. The city's moving and shaking. It's growing. Can we see some more Black excellence? Can we recast this show? I really think that Carlos King and Melody need to sit down and decide what they need to do if this show is going to stay on the air. But my greatest hope is that Melody will do her own spinoff. I'd be down for that all day. But anyway, guys, that's all the commentary I have for you for right now. If you haven't done so, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, hit the notification bell, because I will be back. Until then, ciao.